for me is kind of where I'm at now, is trying to find and explore opportunities to build that reputation, as that Nate surrounds himself with fucking ballers, like raw killer talent, people that just get it.
I think there are two big things in business in general when I think about that, as far as possibly misconceptions and that kind of cloud the judgment as far as what we are talking about. I think one is the hierarchies and competence, meaning that I think a lot of people think that because you like there's two sides. There's people say like, oh, hierarchies are wrong in general, and like they are based on just some elite, someone was born somewhere. They're not at all based on like how good is someone at something. But then there is another extreme, people saying like, okay, my position in a certain space is only dependent on my skill. And I think none of these are true. Neither of these, I think, two are true, because I think there is like more nuance there, that, yeah, the skill is very important and your place in a hierarchy is partially dependent on how good you are in a certain expertise. And connected with that is also what you were talking about. I think measuring is that, and that I think Rory Sutherland said it, that he said that a lot of us think that only what you can measure is real. And I think a lot of like businesses and people and in general fall into this trap now, that, okay, like all of this we say is kind of sounds bullshit, because what we say, like a lot of it you can't really measure, and because you can't really measure it, it means it's bullshit. But I think there is also more nuance there, that, yeah, maybe you cannot measure this specifically, but doesn't mean it's working, and doesn't mean you cannot look at if you are progressing.
So there's a bunch of different things in there. We'll talk about first. So the idea of the perception versus actual like merit. It reminds me of a movie with Donald Logue it was on a little indie film called The Tao of Steve. And he was this real kind of like douchey guy that was he was not good looking, but really good at picking up chicks, even when he was older. So he was like the overweight, kind of didn't take really good care of himself guy that just like had a way with the ladies. And the younger guy who was like on his frisbee golf team, right? I was going to date the movie a little bit. Was that, hey, teach me, dude, like teach me, like, how did you do that? And so Donald Logue's character asked him, like, well, what are you good at? And the guy's sitting there and he's like, man, I'm really good at camping. And Donald Logue leans in and he's like, you can't go camping in front of a chick. And when you think about that, and kind of, I know it's super sexist, but but when you start thinking about that, it's like, Voodoo influence, we talk a lot about, flexing your muscles publicly. Right. So if there's any opportunity you have to actually do what you're good at, that competence, the merit, right? The meritocracy, something that, what's the word?
Ray Dalio.
Yeah. Dalio talks a lot about that. If you want to do that, you need to find or create opportunities to do that publicly in front of the people that you want to impress. And you can look at things like cooking shows, like, and who are the big celebrities in cooking. And most of them end up getting involved in like competitions that are broadcast live. And they might be engineered, they might be rigged, but you could actually see the chef cooking in like a high pressure environment. And like Gordon Ramsay with Hell's Kitchen, like how fast the man could like fillet a fish. It was crazy watching that. I was like, man, like, I don't know how good of a chef he is, but man, I've never seen anyone do it that fast other than like a sushi master, or and actually getting a chance to see how fast they do. For me, I built up a lot of my status in the beginning because I'm able to write live. Someone can hand me something unscripted live, and I can tear it down and rewrite it in like 10 minutes. And the more I did that, the faster I got. There were a lot of times I straight up bombed at doing that in the beginning, but being able to show off that skill is important. And granted, I've got this strategy identity now, so I could easily, rapidly triage a problem and map out some different strategies, a direct path, an indirect path, and a voodoo path. We use that a lot. And our clients are starting to talk that way too, which is kind of cool. Like, I think we need more of the voodoo thing over here, Nate, which is awesome. The branding's working. I'm not very good at branding. So, I mean, people are starting to use it, but for me to climb up the ladder, that's the next step is, okay, how do I flex my strategic muscles in a public environment? And that makes it a little more difficult, just like it was with email, because it's going to have to take someone willing to share their intimate B2B business problem, B2B like outbound or sales or messaging problem with me to work on publicly. And do I want it to be about me, or do I want it to be about my team? And that's for me is kind of where I'm at now, is trying to find and explore opportunities to build that reputation, is that Nate surrounds himself with fucking ballers, like raw killer talent, people that just get it, that kind of like that, the Untouchables or Ocean's 11. I want to be Danny Ocean. I look nothing like George Clooney, but that's kind of that is aspirational for me, because he was a mastermind and he just surrounded himself with badasses. And that's part of the image I want, because I'm not going to be able to individually help all these people anymore, which is why moving forward, my influence work on a very personal level needs to include that team component. It's still about me. It's all about me and my ego and my identity and the people I'm trying to impress. But that's the shift that has to happen, is I need to explore opportunities where I get a chance to show off my team.